Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the BOCC meeting for January 30th. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, first thing we have are our minutes from our last meeting. Gentlemen, do we have any additions or corrections?
I do not.
I move to approve the proceedings of the Board of County Commissioners from Montezuma County for January 23rd, 2024 as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of Commissioners, Montezuma County for January 23rd, 2024. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, planning. So it sounds like we have, or it looks like we have a public hearing. Come on down. Warner. Kim, would you call the roll, please? I think it's as loud as we can get them.
Commissioner Candelaria.
Here.
Commissioner Lindsay.
Here.
Commissioner Copenhaver.
Here.
Administrator Anderson.
Here.
Attorney McLaren.
Here.
Kim Purcell, Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for the purpose of reviewing and determining the proposed revocation of the Certificate of Designation for 49 Square Ventures, which would prohibit the operations of the Class 2 composting facility now owned by CLM Composting, Inc. on property located at 9294 Road 39, Mancos, Colorado, situated in Section 30, Township 36 North, Range 13 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, January 30th, 2024 at 9 a.m. in the Commissioners' Hearing Room, 250 Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Office online services at https://co-montezuma.co.smartgovcommunity.com public home. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. Dated this 20th day of December, 2023. Kim Purcell, Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado. Published in the Journal on Wednesday, December 27th, 2023.
All right, thank you, Kim. Okay, Don, would you give us an overview of this one?
Sure. This is the new owner of the property of CLM Composting Incorporated. So the county holds the Certificate of Designation for the solid waste composting facility. It's in the name of 49 Square Ventures, as it has been for the last decade or so. So at this point, the property was sold last summer. We were not notified. The way we found out was that the CDPHE Water Quality Control Division issued a cease and desist order for lack of water sampling, different conditions. Since then, I had been in email correspondence with Ed Smith, who has been involved in the whole operation all along from CDPHE. He informed us that the new owners were only going to clean it up and not operate it, and that they were not required to sign any agreements, sign on to the closure, post-closure commitments. I have no idea on the fines. The Water Quality Control Division fines were paid by 49 Squares as part of the completion of the sale. But the other fines have been from the Solid Waste Division for the last 10 years of 50, 60, 70,000. We have no idea what the status is, but if they were not required by the state to sign on to any of that, then I don't know where that stands.
Oh.
So, you know, from the past history of 49 Squares operation and never have been compliant from day one when they own the property, we would recommend that that certificate of designation be revoked. But I think we need more answers from the state, the conditions of what they're expecting or what the new owners are to comply with, other than the quarterly sampling of the monitoring wells.
So, before I go to CDPHE, I'll give you the opportunity, Mr. Hicks, to kind of give us what your understanding of this certificate and how it relates to CDPHE's.
Actually, I
operating.
didn't know very much about it, that they're trying to revoke it or any of that kind of stuff. I bought it, we're cleaning it up, which we have, you can go look at it. We're not hauling anything in until we get all of the stuff out of there, but we have to feed the worms or we can't keep composting, you know. And I don't see any reason why anybody would try to take it away. I mean, the Forest Service is trying to find places to put their slash, or every sawmill in the whole town or country is dumping in everybody's yards and everybody's fields, and they're gonna catch on fire. We've got it so it can control it, the water's controlled, everything's controlled. It's a necessary evil, I guess. I mean, it's wood, it's not toxic unless you talk to the state. You know, I don't know what I need to be saying.
I
need to
was
get a lawyer, or-
just your understanding of what was going on.
Understanding
through your
that
purchase.
they said that there was like 500,000 yards on it when 49 first got it, and it's down to like 200,000, and they said that we could actually put more material in there to compost after we got it down, after we got it cleaned up and down, so there wasn't so much, which we don't need, probably 2 years before we'll need to haul anything in to clean up. But yeah, I bought it to operate it. It's a super product. It's certified for the DOT, it's certified for the schools, it's certified for cleaning up the toxic waste in the wells. I mean, in the mining, they come and buy all our biochar to clean up the water up there in Rico, and you know, it's not a toxic product. And
Okay.
solid waste is for hauling in all the trash and stuff. We're not hauling in no trash. In fact, we're really picky on what we are gonna haul in. We're gonna haul in clean sawdust, and that's it. You know, I don't need the fibers in it or anything else like used to come from the mill, that all the stuff that's there was.
Okay. Commissioner, do you have any questions before I go to CDPHE?
No, not really.
All right. So, I think they can probably hear me through the mic. I'm going to call, I guess, on Ed Smith. I think, Ed, you were probably, if I remember right, back in 2019, reading through this came in front of us back then. So, Mr. Smith, can you give us your synopsis of what's going on here as far as CDPHE is concerned?
Oh, there we go. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, we were aware, well, historically speaking, yeah, I think we've had a lot of trouble with 49 Square Ventures trying to get them into compliance. They did make some progress, but in the end, there were a number of fines that had been assessed from the solid waste perspective. And even though we had issued compliance orders and amended compliance orders, those fines and penalties were never fully collected and have been turned over to the state collections department. So that's where that stands. And I know there was still some material left on site that they had not processed, and there were some groundwater issues, I believe. But yeah, long story short, they never fully came into compliance. And now that they're no longer the owner or the operator, you know, the new owner has come in and agreed to clean up the site, which is good. They wouldn't be able to, under our solid waste regs, operate under the current EDOP or Certificate of Designation because that was issued to 49 Square Ventures. So they would, if at some point they chose to operate a composting site, would need to get those documents in place. Jerry Henderson, who's in our permitting unit, I don't know if Jerry, if you have anything more to add to that as far as historical operations, you probably have a little more than me as far as background.
Good morning. I don't. I just rejoined. I was having trouble with my audio, and so I've missed most of the conversation up to now.
So then I guess, Ed, the question is, it sounds like we're still out of compliance?
Well, since there was material that was left on site, yeah, I mean, technically the site is out of compliance. The department could have issued, a compliance order to the new owners. But since they were coming in and had agreed to clean up the remaining wood waste, and sort of remediate the site, we decided not to go that way. We can reach out to the facility owner and do an inspection in the spring once things, the snow melts and everything, and see how things are going. But since we've got a new owner that's willing to get the site into compliance, we decided not to issue a compliance order at this point.
And so, Commissioners, if I may, I mean, the purpose of today's public hearing is very narrow. It's just a question of whether this certificate of designation should be revoked. I don't think there's really any question. I mean, this certificate of designation was given to 49 Squares. 49 Squares no longer exists. And so I think it would only be appropriate today to revoke it. Now, that doesn't mean that the new owners can't come back and apply for a certificate of designation. That's all laid out in statute, and that would be an opportunity that would be available to them. But for purposes of today's public hearing, my advice would be let's not get too far into the weeds. Ultimately, this certificate of designation is not any good because
of the different owner?
It was to a different owner for a
I agree
different
with that.
operation. And so my advice would be, I think it would be wholly appropriate to revoke this today. And then, if at a later date, 49,
Yeah,
or
for sure.
the new owners want to come back and apply for a certificate of designation, then we can get into the evidentiary pieces and where the cleanup's at and those sorts of things.
Yep, I know 49 Square put $400,000 in, putting in the wells, lining the ponds, doing all of the work that they just kept adding on, this super poison material we're dealing with. Anyway, but yeah, I think you should revoke it and get their name off of it, and let's start anew.
Sounds like Mr. Hicks just made things real easy.
All right. Well then,
My only question, and Mr. Henderson might have an answer, state statute does not address transferring of a certificate of designation. Is there anything in CDPHE on ability to transfer? Just for now or future reference?
Well,
We have had the Colorado Attorney General's office look into that question, and their determination is that a CD does not transfer automatically to a new owner. It would have to be issued to the new owner. The pre-existing one does not automatically transfer.
Fair enough.
And that makes a lot of sense because
Right.
there may be variances in the operation or what's being done now versus what was being done before, so.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you going to operate under the same name?
No, we're CLM Compost is who we bought it.
Okay.
We're not 49 Square. We didn't buy their company, I just bought the land
Right.
and the
Okay.
machinery to
Well, it
screening
makes-
plants, and
Yes.
said I'd clean it up, and everybody here knows I will.
so okay, I won't even ask the question because then we're just getting into the weeds. Really, it's just whether or not we're going to revoke this or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
After hearing all of this,
Wait,
and,
well, I still have to open it up for public comment.
yeah, I think
So,
we,
hold on a minute. All right.
Before we jump.
With that, I will open this application up for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak for or against this application, please come forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you may address the board at this time. Okay, seeing no public comment, I'll close the public comment session of this application. I will bring it back to the commissioners, gentlemen.
yes, I would so move that we revoke the resolution, Montezuma County Certificate of Designation of a Solid Waste Facility. I'm going to learn to talk one of these days. Resolution number P-9-2014 of 49 squares. Location site is 9294 Road 39, Mancos, Colorado.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to revoke a certificate of designation for 49 Square Ventures. Resolution number P-9-2014, located in Mancos, Colorado, located at 9294 Road 39. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, there you go. That one is revoked, and now you can start a
Start anew.
clean.
Yes.
Start anew. So,
Thanks.
Thank you.
all right. Thank you, Ed and Jerry, John, David. Appreciate you guys being online.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
Not at this time. That's the only item we had for today's meeting.
Okay.
And we did get our answer on where those fines are coming from, so that clears a big hurdle up moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good for them to have a clean slate to move
I
forward.
don't know why we couldn't get that answered in an email, but
Yeah.
we got an answer, so I'm happy.
Okay. Well, that was a lot better than I thought. So, very good. Anything else? Okay.
Not at this point.
All right. Sounds
right.
good.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. All right, now we'll move into our public comment session of the actual meeting, and the Montezuma Board of County Commissioners welcomes you to this meeting. Person speaking during public comment will be limited to 3 minutes, or depending on the number of people wishing to speak, it may be reduced to allow all the members of the public the opportunity to address the board. When addressing the board, please state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments. Comments to individual supervisors or staff are not permitted, and participants may not yield their time to others. And with that, the public comment session of this meeting is now open.
My name is John Karsten, live at 11863 Highway 491, and I'm here today just as a concerned citizen about election integrity. I asked around and been around since 2020 election, and pretty much everybody I ever talked to, they just have no trust and faith in our elections. A lot of concerns. Been doing the surveys and petition, and at the Republican Women's headquarters, you can go down there and we have surveyed like 1,627 people. 87% said they do not trust our election system in this county. I don't think we can save the state, but we need to work on the county. We need to try to fix this county. And I understand that we're being forced to use these machines, but we'd like to maybe possibly do a hand count alongside the machines. That way people could have their trust a little bit back into our system. I know that costs money and stuff. We got a lot of volunteers, and I think we could pull it off to have hand count right alongside the machines so people know in this county that the elections are fair. I have some videos, and this addresses a lot of our concerns in this county. It's from Professor Clements. It's very good. I watched it, and it's very well done. I'd like to hand it out to each one of the commissioners. I think Mrs. Purcell's already got a copy of it. And also a little, can I bring these up to you guys?
Yeah.
Very well done.
Thank you.
Kind of explains a lot of our issues. So that's pretty much all I have to say. I wanted you guys to maybe look at those and understand our concerns a little bit. Appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you. Next.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
I'm Carolyn Lucas. I'm from 34097 Road M, Mancos, Colorado. Never been to a commissioner's meeting. It's very interesting. So, and I'm here as a concerned citizen, a voting citizen. I've been voting in Montezuma County for a while. And as Mr. Karsten just commented, there's a growing number of us. And I think that's why I'm here today, to say it's not just me. There's a whole bunch of people out there in the county behind me. And we are very concerned about our election integrity in this county. And I would say that definitely, I'm going to go the whole way and just say what we would like to see done in this county, as done across the nation to ensure voter integrity, is we want to have one day to vote. We want to have in person with ID. We want to go back to hand counting. We don't want mail-in ballots. We don't want drop-off boxes. We know, and in the video that he just gave you, it will show you, there's evidence after evidence after evidence to indicate that the digital voting machines, the drop boxes, and the mail-in ballots are designed for one purpose and one purpose alone. That's to steal the elections, and that it has been done for the past 50 years. We don't want that anymore. We want to have fair and free elections where our votes count, and we want to know that. So I will stand with John in saying that we would like to go with a hand counting. I know it's possible. There are many of us out here that will be willing to step up, and that's what we would like to see done. But actually, I'm going to tell you again, there's a rise coming. This is a flood. It's going to be a flood of people across this nation who are going to start demanding, and we're going to demand that the voting machines be taken out. We're going to demand a hand count because we want our nation back. In the mighty name of Jesus, I just always say all that too, because I believe that he is behind it, and absolutely. So that's my comment. Thank you very much for listening. I appreciate it. And I just have to say thank you, Dr. Copenhaver. I know I'm not supposed to make a personal comment, but I haven't been able to thank him for the service he did for my family.
Thank you, ma'am. Next. All right. With that, I'll close the public comment session of this meeting. And we will go straight to our unfinished business. First thing on our agenda for the unfinished business is we have a decision as it's related to the Sylvan Cemetery Board for reappointment. We only had one application. We discussed this yesterday in our workshop. I did find out this morning from our clerk that is actually a 6-year term instead of a 3-year term. So I think that's all that we had to add from our discussion yesterday. So any other comments or questions, gentlemen?
No.
Okay.
I move to appoint Lori Olander to the 6-year term on the Sylvan Cemetery Board.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the application and appoint to the Sylvan Cemetery Board for a 6-year term, Miss Lori Olander. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, very good. The decision as it's related to the Smart Retention Grant is going to be pulled. Obviously, it was pulled yesterday, and we're going down to the Physical Security Grant, which was presented by the Department of Social Services and Jim McLean yesterday. This is basically a $27,952 grant, which helps with more cameras. Can you pull up the next one, Travis, which actually showed what it was? It was for cameras, doors, door installation, glass. I'm sorry. Cameras, a license, and cameras indoors. So a total of the $27,952. This was discussed. We had a lot of questions on it yesterday. Gentlemen, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No.
Okay.
I would so move we approve the grant for the Department of Social Services as it relates to the physical security grant. And what's the program number on there?
I think if we just put the cost is all we have to do.
Total grant amount of $27,952.32.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the physical security grant for the Department of Social Services in the amount of $27,952.32. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You want to vote?
Aye.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Just making sure I get all three of us. All
Still
right.
trying to find the number, and I can't find the number.
Next, we have a decision on a possible signing of the OERPR grant, amendment number 6. This was presented yesterday by our health director, and basically what this does is it adds the additional $5,000. I think it was $5,000, correct? Number 6, yeah.
And this is for their emergency manager.
Correct.
Yep.
Anything else you guys would like
No,
to add to that?
uh-uh.
Okay. And I actually did find that yesterday in DocuSign, so I do have it.
Okay. I move we sign contract amendment number 6 for 2024, number 0099, amendment number 6 with the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment in Montezuma County Public Health Department.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept contract amendment number 6 between CDPHE, Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, with the Board of County Commissioners to the Montezuma County Public Health Department in the amount of $5,000. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. And then we also discussed in our workshop yesterday, we had an RFP. We had only one bidder on it, and this is related to the noxious weed qualification supervisor, which then allows us supervision for the chemicals that we use in Montezuma County. Anything else?
No, I would so move we appoint Joe Bruner as the, was it temporary? Temporary weed,
Noxious weed
noxious
qualified
weed
supervisor.
qualified supervisor for the weed department of Montezuma County.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the proposal and appoint Joe Bruner as our noxious weed qualified supervisor temporary for Montezuma County. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next, we have a discussion regarding the signatures for CCI. Letter as it's related to the slaughterhouse bill. This will be sent to Mike Johnson, the mayor of Denver. I brought this up last week in our conversation, and I personally signed out of this since I was at CCI in Denver last week, but I think it absolutely makes more of a statement coming from the entire board. And this is, there's a slaughterhouse that sits basically right down in the Western Stock Show complex in Denver, and apparently they are trying to remove that. They use the term slaughterhouse, I use the term packing plant, but I guess it's all the same thing. So, gentlemen, you guys have now had a time to read this letter. Any questions, comments, concerns on this letter?
No.
I don't have any.
I think this is, go ahead, Gerald, I'm sorry.
This is a sheep slaughterhouse, and it's right on the National Western Stock Show grounds. It's been there forever. It's an employee-owned company. There's 200 and some employees, mainly slaughtering sheep. That's all they do, basically. And they're trying to pass a vote in the city and county of Denver to remove this out of the city and county of Denver. So basically, they're taking this business away, and in my personal opinion, it's a taking, because that's an employee-owned company, and most of the employees have been there, worked up through the years to actually buy that company and have had it for running that for quite a while. So it's not a good thing, and it's just a start. What's going to be next? They're going to just legislate who else out of it that's been there forever. So I think we should sign this thing and do everything we can to help these people with their business.
I totally agree. This is an affront to these people's property rights, and it's going to migrate into the outlying communities before we know it. These people want to close them down, let them buy the business and then close it down. So I definitely support this. Gerald, you want to make the motion?
Yeah. I move we sign and send this letter to the Honorable Mike Johnson, the mayor of the city and county of Denver, concerning regarding the November 2024 ballot measures to prohibit slaughterhouses in Denver City County.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to sign the letter and send to the Honorable Mike Johnson, the mayor of the city of Denver, as it concerns the November 2024 ballot measure to prohibit slaughterhouses in Denver. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 And Commissioner, you should have one there
We have one that's,
on letterhead.
just another point to make to the public, and I don't know if you guys have noticed the construction that's happening south of town, just past the bridge in Makelmo. Our new
Meat
processing plant, slaughterhouse. I mean, it just depends on what you use, but it looks like a great facility. It's going up. It looks like it's going to be large, and it will be a USDA packing plant. I think we approved it 2 years ago, year ago.
Yeah, at least year and a half.
Anyway,
Let's go for a year and a half and split the
progress
difference.
is happening. It is south of town. If you look up on top of the hill where the old Reed Hurst Trucking Company used to be, that's what you'll see up there now, and hopefully it'll be online in the next 6 to 8 months, I would hope. So we are fully behind these USDA packing plants, which this is what this is, and I think that makes a lot of good sense. All right, we'll move on. The next we have our decisions related to the reorganization of the board of the BOCC, of the committees that we serve on, but first we'll look at the appointments of the 2024 offices. The attorney will, these are all current with what they are now. The only thing that we have vacant is our noxious weed director. And until we decide 100% which way we're going with the program, that position will not be filled, but all the others will stay the same. Commissioner Copenhaver, we did have a conversation yesterday and a question as far as the water representative with you. Mr. Carver, were you able to?
I wasn't able to get a hold of Randy, so.
So, again, we can, if they do decide to leave, we can appoint somebody else. So with that, as you see presented to you right now, these will all stay the same. Is there any further discussion on that?
No.
Okay.
I would make the motion, we appoint the 2024 office appointments as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint the 2024 office appointments as presented on the screen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, then the reorganization of the BOCC as far as we sit on the boards that we all take place, and I think you just moved it on me, Travis. Just a few changes. Commissioner Lindsay's going to now be the lead on Region 9. I'll be the alternate. And I think the publication was a question yesterday. That does have to stay the same because it's the only publication we have in Montezuma County. And other than that, that's all we have.
I would so move, we organize the Board of County Commissioners as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint or reappoint the Montezuma County organization of the BOCC as presented for 2024. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next, moving down to new business. I don't see Jerry in the room. Was she?
The sheriff asked for us to postpone this till next week because he wanted to do a review of the area around this proposed liquor.
Okay. Is this a new license?
It is.
Okay.
All right. I do see Mr. Roth in the room, and we're going to have our discussion as far as it relates to the 2023 CDOT HUFT Highway Users Tax Fund and Mileage Certification Report.
Commissioner, real quick, can we take a 5-minute recess till I can get IT up here? I lost my screens.
You bet. So all those people online, we're going to take a 5-minute recess, hopefully, and we'll get everything, be able to get back up on screen.
Not my fault this time.
Yes, sir. I am ready if you're ready. Commissioners, are you ready? We're good to go. All right. All right, Mr. Doug. Come on up.
We're ready?
Yep.
Okay, so this is just our annual certification of last year's mileage with any road additions or surface changes that might affect HUTF funding. So we can make this pretty quick. Here's basically the report we'll go down at the top are the adjustments to the inventory that may actually slightly change funding. Again, we're adding to or revising from the last year's mileage totals that we'll look at that are highlighted there in yellow. And so change number 1 is Road 14. We did get a public right-of-way dedication from Gail Alexander. That connects the right-of-way, the green right-of-way that we did have from County Road into the BLM. So that added 0.59 miles. With that change, we also changed about half a mile of green road from primitive to graded through that section. And this change is not, these changes are not on the official roadmap yet. We're going to be looking to add these and adopting a 2024 roadmap. We're due for that, but obviously those are public right-of-ways and it's going to be a green road. Road X is a change that Rob wanted us to do. This was a very short section of county-maintained road. It was actually on the roadmap since the 1930s through the 1990s, and then at some point it was just taken off. So Rob wanted to add that back to the inventory. It's only about 660 feet just east of Road 16, so we changed that to green. So we have a net gain of roads added to the inventory of 1.19 miles. We didn't pave any new gravel roads this year. We did have Rob noticed on a road map, there's a 1 mile section of Road Z that we had on as graded, and in fact it was graveled in 2016, so we made that change. For HUTF, again, it's total mileage and it's whether it's paved or unpaved, basically. So that change really isn't going to affect funding because, again, unless it's paved, it's either unpaved or paved, whether it's graded dirt or graveled, it's the same unpaved category. So we did make those changes, and then we always put in the new construction activities that are done. This did not change surface type, but of course we had an overlay on Road 23 of 0.6 of a mile, the airport road, down to the overflow parking lot, and we had about 0.6 of a mile of asphalt overlay on Road S, Lost Canyon Road. Of course, the road department's big project this year was the bridge, so just put that on a little map for the summary of what we had going on. And that is about it. Any questions?
I guess I do have a little bit of a question. That 660 feet, does that actually service anybody there on that? I mean, is there any... Why are we... It looks like it's just a little bitty branch off of... I mean, it doesn't really help us as far as our funding mechanism.
No, I mean, it basically goes to, I think it serves a farm access and then a home on the southern portion of it. Now, I mean, technically it's a section line road, so it could continue down. There's Rob asked me to put it back on, and I put it back on. I mean, there's significant, it's been on the road maps long enough, and it's been maintained by the county long enough that there was an established public right-of-way, And I think the landowner there, the question came up, you know, why aren't we plowing, maintaining the short section? It's always been plowed. And then I think it was new to Rob to take a look at the evidence and say, I guess we've done it in the past, so we'll continue to do it. So,
Okay.
so that was Rob's request. It's, yeah, it's, I think it's one farm access and one home that's up there
Okay.
in that area.
All right.
You know, and those can always be evaluated later in the future, but, yeah.
I think we evaluate roads all the time. I mean, we had another one brought to our attention just recently that we'll be looking at and then try and address it also.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, the Road 14 one is huge. And if we could get a couple more like that to other public land scenarios, that would be great, so.
Which, by the way, if any of you have not driven down that road, thanks to Commissioner Copenafer, I was driving around out there with us viewing it and kind of got lost. Never been out there before, but it is a amazing, spectacular view of that canyon and a way to get to public lands to go hiking. I was impressed, but now it is on the road map and you actually can use that right away to get through there. So, yeah, good.
Good.
I did read CCI's letter that came along with that from Eric Bergman, and like he said in there, the good news is that there was a little bit more because of Senate Bill 260, I think, or anyway, so we are getting a little bit more funding. Although, you know, the way this is broken out, it's the state gets 60%, counties get 22%, and municipalities get 18%. So with the road miles of almost 800 road miles, it's still not a big chunk of money that we're allocated for this part of the state, but it is what it is per road miles, and whether it's hard surface paved or not. So, anything else, gentlemen?
No.
There's one thing that came up when I was working with the road department on their snowplow route maps. On our official road map, we did have if you look at the legend, and I think we added this maybe back in 2016 road map or so, and it was a little asterisk that was next to the graded and the primitive roads, and said these do not receive winter maintenance. And then it was pointed out that while that may be true, that may also lead somebody to infer that means that all, you know, graveled roads and paved roads do receive winter maintenance, which is not true. So it's more nuanced and refined than that, and especially up in the northwest part of the county. So we're going to be working on that for the next road map to clarify that portion of the road map. So
Very good.
So we just have a signature page, and then we can turn this in and be done with it for the year.
Okay.
I move to sign this certification signature sheet for Montezuma County for the HUT eligible miles of 790.49 total miles for Montezuma County.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to sign the CDOT Highway User Tax Fund Mileage Certification Report for Montezuma County, which again, our total eligible miles are 790.49. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, with that, while we're signing that, Ian, I'm going to go ahead and go to you for our county attorney's report if you have anything.
I don't have anything this week.
Okay, all right, very good. Travis, what do you have for us?
I'll let you expound, but Thursday and Friday, both days, all day, CCI meetings. I did attend a meeting with some project managers from the tribe. They are working on a project of 2.3 million solar panels. It's called the Sun Bear Project. They will be having a meeting at the casino on February 9th at 6 p.m. They're estimating to bring in 600 to 1,000 jobs throughout a 2.5 year project. And if you're interested, their website is sunbearproject.com. So they're expecting to break ground in around June. And that's all I have.
All right, very good. Commissioner Copenhaver.
This last week I attended the Memphis meeting. There's a lot of discussion about their reelection and process is going to happen. And they're set up a little different than most others because the mayor is actually elected separate from the rest of the council. And so there is some discussion about that. Other than that, it's just a more normal budget things and land use issues that are coming up. Then on Thursday, I had a Zoom meeting on some of the legislative bills that are coming forward that have to do with water through Southwest. That's about all I have.
All right, Commissioner, actually, I do have a question on you on one, as far as it relates to water, but I'll find it here and I'll ask you that question in a minute. So, Commissioner Lindsay.
Yes, I attended the city council meeting last Tuesday night. In their workshop, they discussed their new land use code and at least portions of it. If you'd like to tune in, you can replay that on YouTube. And then in their regular meeting, they were kind of quick. They almost set a record, I think. But they presented some stuff on their agenda for their, what do they call, consent agenda. They approved some hotel liquor licenses and some expenditures. And they renewed their franchise agreement between the City of Cortez and Empire Electric. Got a new application for a tavern liquor license and did some classification and compensation study bid awards, and also a resolution appointing Dennis Spruill and Vernon Knuckles to the dispatch users. And that was pretty much it for the city council. They did have a little bit of discussion. They have 4 board seats coming up for election in May, and I met one of the new candidates, and the other 2, Rob Dobry and Rachel Medina, are running for their seats. And I can't remember who the 4th one was, doggone it. But they have 6 applicants for 4 seats. And I did zoom into the Region 9 meeting on Thursday. It was my second meeting, but I got the lay of the land, and hopefully I can attend in person the next time. When they broke for lunch, I jumped over to the CCI meeting, caught the tail end of it, and the only other thing I had a call from a constituent about one of the bills, which is the raw milk bill. And happy to report that it went through the Agricultural Committee in both House and Senate and passed unanimously, and now moves to appropriations. So that's all I have.
All right. Thank you, sir. Well, I have a few things to report locally here. I do believe that the Loves is coming online here, like probably this coming week or next week. I think they've been interviewing for jobs, and that is a 24/7 operation, so that will require a lot of our people here that hopefully if they don't have a job, they can get down there and go to work. Again, I already talked about our USDA packing plant that's being built on the facility down south, which is great progress for our county, and specifically that cleanup that we've been looking at on that southern part of the county for a long time, and things are starting to actually now take place. One of the water bills that I was wanting to ask you about, Commissioner Copenhaver, was Senate Bill 24005, is that prohibits landscaping practices for water conservation. And this is basically for new non-functional turf. So did the Water Commission take anything on that? Because at CCI, we left it in an amend position. Basically what this bill is trying to do non-functional turf, not necessarily down here in the rural areas, but in the metropolitan areas or even the urban areas. They have little islands of turf, like in parking lots, and they really are non-functional. They don't serve any purpose for anything other than kind of beautification. We were more, they're not going to really save a lot of water, so we were kind of feeling like leave this up to the land use within the municipalities and not step on any of their toes at all. That was one of the water issues. So I don't know if you have anything to add on that.
Well, it's just, I think that's more, should be controlled more by the municipal, rather than the state trying to tell us what we can do. Personally,
Yeah.
it's my feeling.
And-
The city here knows how much water they have and what they can do and not do. Most of the city water, as far as the parks and everything here, is MDI irrigation water. It's not treated water, and it's not, so every city's probably got a little different situation. Some of them probably don't have enough water rights. Maybe they should be regulating that, but that should be up to them, not
Yeah.
the state.
And that's kind of where we left it, and we
think it
left
should
it
be
on an amend position. Another one that was, brought a lot of conversations, we left this in an amend position too, Senate Bill 24004, as it relates to our VSOs, and that all VSOs will be certified by the state and accredited by the Federal Veterans Administration. Our VSO is certified here. However, we're fortunate, but it sounds like a lot of smaller counties, it's hard for them to comply with this because they actually don't have a certified VSO, and it has to be also accredited by the Federal Veterans Administration. So not that it can, that, it really affects us right now, but apparently a lot of, in the smaller more rural counties than us, it may be a task for them to try and get, VSOs to even get on board. A lot of bills came through. Those are just a few of the highlights. They are all posted on Mondays now, and the positions that we took on them. I can tell you that we had 9 bills in Health and Human Services as it pertains to youth and the matters going forward with kinship, foster care, regulating flavored tobacco, crisis resolution, a whole plethora of those. So if you guys are interested in those, there's going to be a lot of bills coming out of Health and Human Services. With that, both of my flights were on time. I did not get stuck in DIA, and I was actually able to get back to where I needed to be by late Friday night. So pretty happy with the air service at this point in time. And with that, that is all I believe that I have.
That's all I have. Motion
All
to
right.
adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn this January 30th, 2024 meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.